Steve, how do you know where to plant a church strategically? Who do you consider? What do you consider?
I think that a good part of the issue is just providence. You just happen to be in a certain place, there's certain needs that come to light, certain opportunities come into play, and I think that's a big factor. I know in my kind of personal history, there's a lot that's happened in terms of I've had all sorts of ideas. So, for example, we've got one estate in Sheffield, the city I live in, that I've been looking at for like 20 years and thinking it'd be great to plant there. It's a difficult estate, history and everything, and not many churches were that interested in it, but it was just happened to happen providentially. So I could dream and pray and hope for like 15 years, but things just fell into place almost. Well, without me having to do anything, and so I really do think that's a big factor, and I try and encourage a lot of people in the end just to go with providence, just trust God to open the right doors at the right time, and give things a go and whatever. I think there are other factors you've got to bear in mind. There's no point in going where there are gospel churches doing good gospel work and just rocking up on their doorstep. That's just silly and self-indulgent. And it can just be very arrogant. So do look out for areas that are underreached. There are a lot of areas in our cities where traditionally evangelical churches just have abandoned. What happened in the 19th century with the great kind of missionary movement overseas, where people were going with a great vision and call of God, taking their coffins because they knew they wouldn't come back. And that was a tremendous thing. But what had happened, and as it happened, evangelicals evacuated the cities, and so we've got all these cities around the UK that are just completely barren, and that's a great place for us to think about, okay, how can we plant the church there? We're not on anybody's doorstep, we're not going into anybody's parish, we just actually get at least any parish where the gospel's being preached, and we don't worry about any other parish. So you just go in and you just actually say, okay, that's, Lord, please give us the grace to start there. And you've got to go in humbly, you've got to go independently. When we started Crowded House, I just went around all the ministers that I could contact with and said, look, this is what we're doing. When we started our first household congregation, I went to 4 or 5 ministers and said, this is what we're doing, and we're not trying to reach, we're not trying to poach. What we're trying to do is reach people that have rejected traditional church. So we're not a threat, and that was received very well. And it was so that sense of humility, openness, vulnerability, all of those things. And if you for some reason don't feel you can be that or do that, then you shouldn't be planting there. So I think those are the headlines.